What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I'm bringing you this story because I find it fascinating because of the players that are involved here. As soon as I saw the name of Byron Allen, I immediately pounced on it, you know, because I will admit to you over the years, Byron Allen is a mystery to me. And I've never ever taken the time, even up till now, I've never taken the time to go and study and find out all the things that can be known about this man. I admit that right from the top, which makes that also the more which is one of the reasons why this is also intriguing to me, because every time I turn around, this dude has shows, and even when he's got a lot of shows that he's not even on. And but then you'll see at the end of it, it'll say Byron Allen Studios. Byron Allen Studios. I've never seen him, given any. Nobody has ever recognized him at like the NAACP awards or the Essence Awards, or you don't see him on BET and all this kind of thing. But I have definitely had a definite sense. I maybe even said it out loud to myself at some point. This guy has got to be really killing it. He's got to be killing it. He got to be killing it. And then I think I also just dismissed him also as not a coon, but just someone who was probably disconnected from the black community, probably has the white wife, all of that. I don't ever hear of him doing anything for the black community. And for some of you guys under the sound of my voice, maybe you're right where I'm at. One of the main things, when I say this, you definitely know who he is. If you ever see late at night, you see on TV, it says Comics Unleashed. All right, that's the dude that hosts that show. All right, but I can't even name all the shows that I know he's been attached to. That he's not even on the show. Like, he's just like the dude. So this will be a experience for me, as I hope it will be for you, just even learning whatever we're going to learn in this piece, because when I saw his name, and then it says he says that Reverend Al Sharpton being used as black pawn by white masters. I thought this has got to be a misprint because of everything that I just laid foundation for you about what I thought about him. I just thought he's disconnected. So I wouldn't even expect those words to be coming from him. Certainly not being put in print. So we got to find out what this is about, everybody, because this is just, my ears are standing up. All right. It says, unlike Reverend, and I will tell you that a lot of times on this particular website, the articles are short, and it'll say read more. So we'll click that when we get to the end of this, and we'll see what the associated article is with it. So just I'm telling you that in advance. All right. So it says, and then by the way, if we get to the second one, and if it seems to mirror this one, then we're over it. All right. But anyway, it says, unlike Reverend Al Sharpton and most other black talking heads, Byron Allen owns his own media platform. According to Allen, Sharpton is getting paid pennies on the dollar, what he describes as a, quote, chicken dinner payoff, to give Comcast cover as the company actively discriminates against black-owned media companies. Do we all understand that? I'll read it again just so we're all on the same page. He's saying that Coon Sharpton is being paid pennies by Comcast as the company actively discriminates against black media companies. Allen, chairman and chief executive officer of the production company Entertainment Studios, combined forces with the National Association of African American Owned Media to file a 20 billion with a B, to file a $20 billion racial discrimination lawsuit against Comcast, Time Warner Cable, Sharpton's National Action Network, the NAACP, and the goddammit Urban League. Wow. My ears are detached from my head now, y'all. Wow. Wait now. Wait. I want to read that again. that's delicious. Wait, it's filed a $20 billion racial discrimination lawsuit against Comcast, Time Warner Cable, goddammit Al Sharpton, the NAACP, and the goddammit Urban League. Now, okay, let me finish this. All of the listed organizations have taken payoffs from Comcast according to the lawsuit. I want to stop right there. Now, the 3-hour production that I did for you guys about segregation. And I want to say to my troops, you guys continue to share that video. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I really love the response that we've been getting back on that video. I really appreciate it. As I said in the piece, I worked very hard on that piece, as I do on everything that I do. But obviously that one was a lot of work. All right. But why I'm bringing that now is because in that, one of the things that I stressed was about the organization that I'm trying to form. And I've been proclaiming to you that it will transcend everything that came before it. And I specifically named the NAACP and the Urban League. But I also named the ACLU, and then, Al Sharpton and just Jessie Jackson. We don't need those people because they're not doing anything for us. And then I also brought you a clip of Malcolm saying the same goddamn thing in 1965. You see? Again, bringing home that nothing has changed. Nothing. And now, well, let's go on, because what I'm really curious to see is, where does Byron Allen get the moral authority to do this? Like I say, in my observation, he's been detached from the black community. But alas, I also said to you, I haven't studied up on him. Maybe he's done stuff and it's so under the wire that I don't know about it. I would find that a little surprising, but alas, I don't know everything. All right, well, anyways, let's go on. All right. So there you go. All these goddamn people have sold you out. I want to translate that. That means all these goddamn people have sold you out. You see? It's cheaper to give fat ass Sharpton, well, he's not fat ass anymore. It's cheaper to give Al Sharpton money than it is to do business with real African American owned media. See? Byron said during an interview with the Daily Caller, quote, "What Comcast does is they give Al Sharpton money so he doesn't call them racist. That is the issue here," end quote. Okay, let's go on. As Byron points out, Comcast pays $11 billion in licensing fees to networks that it carries. But only 3 million of those dollars go to African American owned companies. See that, you guys? You see why I had to do a 3-hour expose on goddammit segregation? At every level of this society, you're being shut out, disrespected, discounted, denied, stepped over, held back, pushed down and back. You see? How many of y'all got Comcast cable right now in your house? Talk to me. Talk to me. Who's got Comcast? Now, how many of you are willing to call Comcast in the morning and say, "Come get your shit"? Huh? See? That's what I say. We can bitch about what's happening, you guys, but we also got to see, well, if we're not answering it, if we're not willing to answer it on an individual and a collective level, let's just all go home. Let's take our toys and go home. Let's go. Let's just be over it. If you're not willing to call Comcast tomorrow, if you have Comcast cable in your home right now, I don't care how many years you had them, if you're not willing to call Comcast tomorrow, stop the video now and go watch Housewives. Go do it. Do it now. Do it. Do it. I'm not playing about this, you guys. This is how serious the times are. And I'm also trying to illustrate to you what you can do. You don't have to sit on the couch and feel like you're powerless. I always tell you, there's shit that you can do that doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't cost you anything. We have to be willing to sacrifice. If those that went before us were willing to, when they left their house every day, battered and bruised from the days and the weeks before, and knew that this could be the day now that I will die trying to battle against this devil. If they could do that and you can't pick up your phone tomorrow and call Comcast, click your ass to another video now. Do it. Because you're exactly in the wrong thinking. Exactly in the wrong thinking. You're a problem to yourself and us. As I tell you, we have to weed out those that are not with us. We have to. We have to. We have to. We have to. Drastic times require drastic measures, and that requires great sacrifice. But alas, this is not great sacrifice. It's, damn it, cable. You see? And then you want to get on your Google and you want to find out what are Comcast's holdings. What all do they own? It's more than just cable. And then you got to divorce yourself of that too. Do you understand? But I also like this because it is bringing to light more of what we already know and have suspected about Al Sharpton. I've said to you that these are the, and I even said it even recently in the segregation expose that I did, that men like Al Sharpton and Jessie Jackson and Dr. King are just buffers. They're the wall between us and the devil. They show up to keep us calm and keep us off their ass. And that's why I said that everything that Dr. King did was exactly the wrong thing. Exactly the wrong thing. You see? We should have been going east. He had us going west. Let's go on. I'll read that again and then I'll pick up. It's cheaper to give Al Sharpton money than it is to do business with real African American owned media. What Comcast does is they give Al ass fucking Coon ass Sharpton money so he doesn't call them racist. This is the issue here. As Byron points out, Comcast pays $11 billion in licensing fees to networks that it carries. But only $3 million of those dollars go to African American owned companies. Alright? Many critics speculated that Al Sharpton's MSNBC gig was a payoff for him having signed off on Comcast merger. Now, I will say this. We're just learning about the Comcast thing. Alright? But I will say this. I've said to you, go back and look at my work. I cover my bases, everybody. But I've said to you that how is it that he has a show on MSNBC? You don't get a show. A show. A show. And how are you able to be marching around the country and showing up at every single police killing, speaking against the devil, and still be able to have your show on MSNBC? This is a conflict. This is a conflict. Just like we tried to explain to white devils, as well as some of my own damn people. that just because Barack Obama sits in the Oval Office, he's not the president. Do you understand? You don't listen. The white devil fights very fiercely and will step over his dead mother's carcass to keep his inferior fucking country in a state of where he can feel like he's superior. You understand? He has and continues to kill anyone and destroy anything that threatens that. You don't get a show on MSNBC and you get to be a goddamn civil rights leader. That's a contradiction. That's like, I'm a police officer, but I also sell crack at night. Nah, bitch, you don't get to do that. You see, it's a conflict. It's a conflict. And I've said to you, as recent, damn it. Wow. I should just play my damn segregation video again, damn it. But anyways, I just said to you in that even, that why isn't he on his MSNBC show saying to black people, this is what needs to happen? Why isn't he meeting with these multi-millionaires and billionaires that we have amongst us in this nation and shaming them on his show and calling out meetings with all of the black NBA players and the NFL, you know, on down the list I went. You see? Why isn't he doing that? That's glaring. That's glaring. Because that's the only reason to have a goddamn MSNBC show. Do you understand? You can't say that you walk in the memory of Dr. King, who did exactly the wrong thing, but for the right reasons, he thought. He couldn't have imagined that Al Sharpton would be sitting at a goddamn MSNBC desk. Could you imagine if Dr. King was sitting at that desk? Well, I don't know. We're going to throw him out. Let's say Malcolm. Could you imagine if Malcolm was sitting at that MSNBC desk? Oh, no. That tells you the caliber of man that Al Sharpton is. That tells you. You see? What do they say? Watch your friends, but hold your enemies close. He's an enemy of the white devil, potentially. Or maybe he's just playing the game, you know. He's only in it for his own personal gain. You see? Either way, the devil has him close up under his hip. Here, Al, let's give you an MSNBC show. Oh yeah, we'll give you a show. You see? He never looked right to me on that. Not because he's a black man. It's just like, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? Why are you there? It's right up there with the dude that hosts that Kelly what the fuck, Michael, damn it, Strahan, whatever his goddamn it first name is, the gap teeth fuck dude, whatever. All right, that is on the Regis, took over for Regis. That shit is sus the fuck spect. Do you understand? Do you understand? You had a Jew, Regis Philbin, in that damn position for 1,000 years with the little white bitch Kelly. Here's Michael Strahan. For all I know about him, he's an athlete, no background in journalism and television, not even an author or anything like that. And suddenly he's the guy? Really? Like, how many dicks did you suck? And how many non-disclaimers did you sign saying, no, I sell my entire asshole to the white devil for now until I take my last breath? Listen, that is a morning show that is the holy grail for white people. Black people don't watch goddamn it Regis. You understand? And they had D.L. Hughley on there sometimes, co-hosting. You could see, okay, them bringing somebody to co-host. Oh, well, okay, they want to look diverse and all of it. We'll allow that. But then he just gets the permanent spot? No. I listen, I don't care. I've been in, like, you could be in like a commercial building or something, or at the doctor's office, and they have that on, and every time I see that on TV, I'm like, something is wrong with that right there, and watch for it, and remember I said it. Something's wrong about that, everybody. And so, alas, so is it wrong with goddammit Al Sharpton? Why do you have that? If I just met him, I would that's be the first thing I would say to him. Hi, Mr. Sharpton. You know I'm the Jedi. So look, why do you have a show on MSNBC? What did you do? I remind my listeners, for some of you who may not even know, back in the what was it, the late '80s, I think, somewhere in the '80s. All right, '80s. Al Sharpton was a big, fat, greasy, fried chicken eating, grape Kool-Aid drinking, processed hair, gold Jesus piece, and dookie chain wearing, Fila suit sporting. All right? And he was exactly the dude that you would see, like, at the corner liquor store or something, shooting dice, and like everybody knew not to fuck with him, and he was like the shadiest dude in the neighborhood and stuff. He had that look. Go Google him, dude. Google him. Google him. All right? And when you see the image, you'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? You know what? Let me see if I can just pull it up. Let me pause you guys. Okay, I will tell you that right now, as I put in his name and everything, this came up from the Daily Caller, so we're going to go to this also after. This seems to be a more... Come on, damn it. I hate when they fucking pop shit up. I'm not, goddammit, doing Facebook. I hate that shit. This seems to be a more complete article. Yeah, that's a juicy one. Yeah. I want to get all angles on this, you guys. But let's go back here now and let's see if we can get these images now. Because, now this is what he looks like now over here on the right. Alright, there he is. You see? That's why I say, you are not black just because your goddamn skin is black. You are not. You are not. Do you understand? You are not. Oh, here it is. Classic. Classic. Let's see if I can get this to come up now. Look at this shit. There he is. Does that look like somebody that the White Devil is going to put on a fucking MSNBC show, everybody? Huh? Look. Oh yeah, we want you to have an MSNBC show. You scream journalism. You see? This is what we're dealing with. Let me find something really the more hideous. Well, they're all hideous. Look. And his claim to fame was there was a case back in the 80s of this young black girl who had been allegedly, we still don't know the truth, allegedly kidnapped, raped, had raised swastikas carved into her skin. She had been they had smeared feces on and all of it, and they said that it was all a hoax by Al Sharpton. They hated him, dude. They hated him. I mean, they hated him. And now this guy gets a show. He gets a show. He gets a show. This guy, has a show on MSNBC. A show. On a white network. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. Anyways, I won't go on with that. Just, I think we've seen enough. You can go and Google him and see any of the pictures and stuff of him. I want to go back to the information now. This is the Associated article that I mentioned in my opener, and then we'll go to the one that I saw with when I went for the pictures. Byron Allen says Reverend Sharpton being used as a black pawn by white masters. Unlike Al Sharpton, the most and most other black talking heads, Byron Allen owns his own media platform. According to Allen, Sharpton is getting paid pennies on the dollar, what he describes as a chicken dinner payoff. Okay, we read that. Chief Executive Officer, $20 billion racial discrimination lawsuit. We know that. It's cheaper to give Al Sharpton. Okay. Al points out. Okay, we read that. Why is Sharpton on TV every night? We'll start here. Why is Sharpton on TV every night on MSNBC? Like I say, why does he have a fucking show? Why? How does he have a show? Because he endorsed Comcast's acquisition of MSNBC Universal. He signed the memorandum of understanding back in 2010, said Allen. He endorsed the merger. The next thing you know, we're watching him on television trying to form a sentence. Every night we have the privilege of watching adult illiteracy. Damn, he went in. Whoa. Allen says what makes matters even worse is that fat ass Al doesn't understand how he's being played by his playmasters. Al Sharpton is nothing more than a black pawn in a very sophisticated white economic chess game, Allen continued. He's not even bright enough to know he's on the chessboard, and he's being used by his white masters at Comcast, specifically Executive Vice President David Cohen, clearly a Zionist Jew, and Chairman and CEO Brian Roberts, another goddamn Zionist. Allen, who has also filed the discrimination lawsuit against AT&T, says Sharpton's been bought off by them as well. Quote, I find it outstanding that AT&T is the biggest sponsor of Sharpton's 60th birthday party, Allen said. AT&T spent more money on Al Sharpton's birthday party than they have on 100% African American owned media combined. Sharpton should return the money because AT&T doesn't even celebrate Martin Luther King Day as a national holiday. The employees there take it as a sick day. Wow. He continued, calling out Jessie Jackson as well. Quote, Reverend Jessie Jackson, you were on the balcony when Martin Luther King was assassinated. Why are you taking money from AT&T? Listen, I didn't know this dude had this in him, y'all. My hair is blown back right now. I'm blown because, like I say, I didn't see none of this in him. I just see the white wife, and you're not really attached to the black community, and keep it pushing. You see what I'm saying? Wow. But alas, this is truth though that he's speaking. This is truth. You see, and it's not diplomatic, and it's not politically correct, and that makes it delicious for me. Do you understand? I love that. You were on the balcony when Martin Luther King was assassinated. Why are you taking money from goddammit AT&T? Why is Al Sharpton getting money from AT&T? Why is he getting more money from AT&T than Ebony Magazine, which has been around for 70 years? Allen says the bigger problem is with having a racial spokesperson at all. There is no white guy who speaks for all white people, Allen says. He's so true. That's so true. That's so true. Allen went on to blast President Obama, saying that Obama uses him to control the Negroes. He goes on to call out Obama for doing nothing to help African American owned media. President Obama, you control a couple $2 billion in advertising. What have you done to make sure African American owned media is participating in government advertising? We got more respect for President Clinton, or from President Clinton. Wow. I still maintain, though, you guys. I still maintain that as with regard to the last part about Obama. Listen, you just see all these people coming out of the woodwork expecting every fucking thing from Obama to be the goddamn Messiah. All I got to do is give you a fucking date in history, and that should shut you the fuck up. November 22nd, 1963. I'm done. Let's go on. Byron Allen goes to war with Sharpton, Obama, Comcast for future of black media. Legendary talk show host Byron Allen is taking on Al Sharpton, President Obama, and the most powerful media corporation in the world in a battle to spotlight the crisis at the heart of American race relations. It's a daunting mission, but for some reason, he doesn't sound scared. Allen told the Daily Caller that top media interests are actively freezing out and in some cases destroying black-owned media companies, and they're paying Reverend turned MSNBC host Fat Ass Sharpton to give them racial cover to do it. As for Washington politicians like Obama, according to Allen, they're bought out by the very same interests, and they're playing a part. Allen, 53, is the chairman and chief executive of the production company Entertainment Studios, which joined with the National Association of African American owned media to file a $20 billion racial discrimination lawsuit this week against Comcast, Time Warner Cable, Sharpton's National Goddammit Action Network, the NAACP, the Urban League, and former FCC Commissioner Meredith Atwell Baker. Allen and his fellow plaintiff also filed a $10 billion lawsuit against AT&T and goddammit DirecTV. Okay, that's it. I have DirecTV. I'm calling the bitches tomorrow. It's a wrap. 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 Done. Done. Now I have to find who else can I get that is not part of that fucking conglomerate that can give me the goddamn own network. Shit. Or I'll go to Hulu or Roku or some of them. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's cheaper to give Al Sharpton money than it is to do business with real African American owned media. What Comcast does is they give Sharpton, we read that. Alright, we'll skip that. Cool. It's an issue entertainment talks about okay. It's an issue that Allen, the cool longtime host of shows like Real People and Entertainers, talks about with off-the-air passion. Comcast's more than $45 billion acquisition of Time Warner Cable is waiting on approval at the FCC, with a decision expected soon. If approved, the merger would make Comcast the most powerful media corporation in the world. But as Allen, who owns seven upstart cable networks, points out, Comcast pays out $11 billion in licensing fees to networks that it carries on its platform. How much of that money goes to 100% African American owned media companies? $3 million, a fraction of 1%. Sharpton's curious takeover of the 6 p.m. time slot on Comcast owned MSNBC in late 2010 was predicated on the Reverend signing off on Comcast's last merger. Its historic acquisition of NBC Universal, which the FCC and Department of Justice approved in January of 2011 after a tough regulatory fight from California Representative Maxine Waters on racial discrimination grounds. Comcast lavished donations upon Sharpton's National Action Network and other civil rights groups to get them to sign off on the deal, according to Allen's suit. Now, I told you guys in my segregation piece, I said, why don't we ever see his organization or Jesse Jackson's organization on TV, or even see anybody staying out front of a grocery store or some shit, like raising, how do they get their money? We always hear about their groups, but we don't. Like, how do you get your money? Nobody's ever called me up and said, would you like to give to the National Action Network? Would you like to give to the Rainbow Push Coalition? You see what I'm saying? And see, this is information that's important because can you imagine if this had been headline, and I don't know how widely known this story is. Is it being covered in the mainstream media? Do you understand? But I mention that because if this is a front page story before the Michael Brown killing, do you understand rocks would have been thrown at his fucking head when he came down there trying to tell people to shut the fuck up and calm down? He rushes to the side of every single fucking high profile murder in this goddamn country. Oh, there he is. You see? And to the white devils on the side of my voice, you need to change your goddamn it fiddle. Because you must understand, this should shut you up. He's not a race baiter. He's exactly what I've been saying. He's the one that keeps us off your white asses. Do you understand? So put down that shit of, oh, they just stir up race. They stir up race. I wish they would stir up race. You should hope they don't stir up race. I'm over it. I'm over it. Its historic acquisition of Universal. I read that. Lavish donations on Sharpton's. Okay. Why is Sharpton on TV every night on MSNBC? Because he's endorsed Comcast's acquisition of NBC Universal. He signed the Memorandum of Understanding back in 2010. He endorsed the merger. Next thing you know, we're watching him on television trying to form a fucking sentence. Okay, we read that. Al Sharpton is nothing more than a black pawn in a very sophisticated white economic chess game. We read that. AT&T, which is looking to acquire DirecTV for $67 billion, including assumption of debt, also pays off Sharpton for racial cover, Allen said. Okay, so have they not acquired DirecTV yet? Well, they're looking to acquire it. I still got to cancel the bitch. Quote, I find it outstanding that AT&T is the biggest sponsor of Sharpton's 60th birthday party. We read that. Reverend Jessie Jackson, you were on the balcony. We read that. Corporations trick people like, quote, I got the diversity award. Well, diversity is defined as women and white women. My wife happens to be white, and I ask her, who is the white guy who speaks for all white people? See? Okay, his wife is white, y'all. I told y'all. Listen. Goddamn it, no. You could just look at him and know it's like, yeah, he got a white chick. Ain't no sister going on there, right there. You know what I mean? But alas, I do appreciate that he can still speak black language. You know, but again, you have to go deeper than that. Are his intentions noble? Is it strictly based on justice for black people? Or is it something else? You see what I'm saying? Like I say, I love what he's saying right here. I do. And I like this little story about he went to his wife and asked her, is there somebody that speaks for all fucking white people? Wow. You can't even think that. The idea is racist. That's wrong. So why do I have some black guy who speaks for me? Why is he cutting deals that somehow I don't benefit from, but somehow he's on television every night? Sharpton's power, including his informal advisory role as at the White House, is just part of the game. I think that Obama uses him to control the Negroes, Allen said of Sharpton. D.C. has been taking payoffs. Comcast owns every politician in that town, including President Obama. Allen said, noting Comcast executives fundraising for the president. Obama has been bought and paid for. President Obama, you control a couple $1 billion in advertising. What have you done to make sure? Okay, we read that. Shame on you, President Obama, Allen said. I think African Americans would have done much better with a white president. But they are murdering us on the street and murdering us in the boardrooms. Well, I would disagree with that. And I stick to that. And I will not be shaken from that. Again, November 22nd, 1963. All right? because there's no way that a black man is going to cut. He doesn't have any other choice. Listen, you coming up on the 2016 presidential campaigns, all right? And you're going to have a fucking 1,000 people running for president. And what always kills me, especially with white people, they rush out and give their money to campaigns of people that you don't even have to be savvy in politics, and you go, the person's not going to win. Like, people actually gave money to fucking Herman Cain. For what? That black fucking sellout ass raisin. So a lot of people run for president just to make money, everybody. Oh, I'm not going to win, but look, I'm running for president. And they come with their speeches and all of it, and they ain't trying to win. Because they never give their supporters the money back. Oh, you didn't win, I want my $10 back. Nah. See? So, I'm not going to besmirch a black man for doing the same fucking thing white people have been doing since the fucking inception of this bitch. So, I'm with Byron. I'm with him. I'm with him. We can stand in the goddamn bathroom at twin urinals together. You understand? Alright? And I won't sock him in his eye. But we have to be consistent also. Let's not act like, oh look, Comcast paid him off, he's bought and paid for. Every fucking politician is. Every one of them. Why do we expect him to be different? Why? Why? Do you understand? If you expect him to be different, you don't know America. You don't. Oh, if this was really all the things that we would hope that it would be, then we could go in on this and go, oh, look, he's not fucking right. Look. You see? But this is no different. White America is no different than the day Obama stood in Springfield, Illinois on that day and announced his presidency for, goddammit, his candidacy for president. Anybody that thinks something is different, you need to go and fucking die right now, because that's the disconnect. That's the problem you're having with this. You understand? Nothing has changed. Your model only works if things had changed. Oh, America's all different now. Racism's over. Black people are completely equal across every fucking test point. No. No. So I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of, oh, look how bad Obama is. I don't give a fuck. That brother's nutsack still smells and looks like mine, and I don't give a fuck. Like I say, I'm enjoying the view. I'm enjoying the goddammit view. And our first lady, who's 5'11", can't take a bad picture, glorious and beautiful, looks like an angel. Her smile brights up the entire universe. I'm over it. Shit, Obama 2017, goddammit. Because I wasn't getting shit before he was president. I'm not getting shit while he's president. I'm not getting shit after he's president. You understand? I know where I'm at. And anybody that sits around and bitches about it has no concept of where they're at. They're in the land of Oz. Alright? And see how that works out for you. We must be consistent. We must be consistent. But maybe Byron Allen just might be able to tell enough truth to change things. No one's ever called them out and said it's time to be accountable. Allen said of the defendants in the case, stressing the need to fight for black ownership of media so that black people can control their own image in the world. I will say I haven't seen anything from his production that is demeaning to black people. I will say that. I will say that. I will say that. If we don't have an economic divide, you don't have the race issues you see today. I hope y'all was hit by that sentence. Because that sums up every fucking thing. And notice, it's just sitting out there on an island all by itself. Oh, look, there it is. Oh, look. Oh, just all alone. 1 comma and 1 period, goddammit. Quote, if we don't have an economic divide, you don't have the goddammit race issues you see today. It's over. It's over. See? That's why I'm saying, they will hate the day when we wake the fuck up and separate from their ass. Because then they have to watch from a distance of us thriving and doing so much better than them. You see? They get away with shit as long as we're amongst them. Another thing I want to say is when we are separate and apart from them, do you understand that every time they're talking about, oh, ISIS this and anybody else you're going to name, or it's some shit, or there's a terror threat, or shit, it will only be for they white asses, and they will be highlighted on the earth. You understand? Once we get the fuck away from them, it will be clear that the only people on the earth that are being hated is their white asses. Nobody will be coming for us. Nobody will be coming for us. Do you understand? If you're in a crack house where they're going to raid the bitch, when the cops come in there, you're going down. But if you're standing across the street someplace eating popcorn, you're just going to watch it. You see? We're also being used as cover for this white devil. You understand? When everybody separates the fuck away from him and then just leave his ass alone, he will be isolated. People realize, look, it's just them. It's just them. Man. Wow. Sharpton, for his part, told the Hollywood Reporter that he welcomes the opportunity to answer the frivolous allegations. We do not generally comment on pending litigation. Oh Lord, there it is. But this complaint represents nothing more than a string of inflammatory, inaccurate, and unsupported allegations, said Comcast. Listen, I'm gonna follow this shit. I'm gonna follow this. I'm gonna follow this because I think there will be a lot of exposing coming out. You understand? Maybe not, because when you're talking about a big media conglomerate like that, that means they control the fucking newspapers. They control the goddamn people that are sitting at the desk on the TV and all of it. So we can't be counting on them to report the shit. So we have to look for independent media. You understand? I don't know. I'm clicking on this one, you guys, because there was this little highlight here. It said where it said Sharpton's Curious Takeover of the 6 p.m. time slot. So a lot of times when they have those, you can just click on those, and then it takes you to something else. And alas, this is what it is taking me to. The American Spectator. MSNBC protects Obama. From what? Cenk Uygur, that's the dude from Young Turks. His hiring at NBC in October of 2010 felt like a populist event. When he took over the network's 6 p.m. MSNBC Live time slot 3 months later for a 6-month trial run, unpaid media aspirants everywhere were paying attention. To the rabid followers of his Young Turks, he was a true independent voice infiltrating the mainstream. An indie media icon made good. College kids have been following him since Obama was running third in Iowa. And his young demo tag is clearly what got him into the 6 o'clock chair. I want to say this. I was concerned when I saw him on the desk at MSNBC. I knew him from Young Turks only. And when I saw him on MSNBC, I thought, well, he's sold out now. Because he is a truth teller. You can't be on MSNBC and tell truth. See? I'm going to stop there. Because if it's just going to be a piece on Cenk Uygur, like, I don't need to do that. But yeah, this is this could be
And I'm not going to get excited about it because it probably won't end up being. But this could be, if it was done right, this could be the undoing, the unmasking of Al Sharpton and goddammit Jesse Jackson on a public scale. Do you understand? On a public scale. Like, that's the shit we need. Because not just for them, this isn't about them at this point, because they don't serve us. It's for us. If black people could lose all fucking faith and glory in them and the NAACP and the Urban League and all that shit, you understand? Maybe that's the other shoe that needs to drop, so black people feel completely unsupported by anything or anyone. You see? So to hell with their goddamn NAACP image awards and all the shit. These are the same people that were poised to give goddammit Donald Sterling another goddamn award even when they already knew he was a fucking racist. First of all, the NAACP shouldn't be giving any awards to anybody white, if you ask me. That's first. That's first. That's first. Their acronym stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, not white devils. Do you understand? So I'm over it. I'm over it. But we need to keep a close eye on this story, everybody. It's very important. I can't stress it enough. I can't. And meanwhile, I need to get about the business of learning all that I can learn more about this Byron Allen, as far as not his sort of business end, but like, how do you fit in my blackness? How do you fit? You have a white wife. I don't ever see you at anything black. Who are you? You know, how many kids do you have? Where do they go to school? Who are their friends? And shit. You know what I mean? What is your motive for bringing this? Do you vote Republican or Democrat? Anyway. Alright, you guys. I'm going to leave it there. 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 This is the Jedi.